Hey guys, welcome back with another video, and today we will get into part 3 of The Amazing Spider-Man 3. Be sure to like, subscribe and turn on the post notifications, and soon I will make The Amazing Spider-Man 4, 5 and 6. You just have to give some time first. Previously, Ghost Spider had went into Peter's universe along with other villains and variants of other people that had died, and now they're trying to fix it. The news goes on after Peter gets the symbiote and says how Vulture isn't dead, and it's now only Kraven, Vulture and Scorpion. Spider-Man says looks like we have another problem. We need to come up with a plan. Before he finishes, a bell goes off from a local church and he starts screaming in pain, and the symbiote comes off a little bit. Gwen asks Peter, what do they mean by they guess Vulture isn't dead? Why is there only for villains by the time I came? Did you kill them? Venom replies, yes we did. It was in order for them to back off. This city doesn't need those wannabe villains. Let's affect the world in a way more meaningful manner to New York City. Gwen in shock, not knowing what she's seeing. She had seen a monster appear out of Peter's chest. She had figured out how to get rid of it. By sound, the bell is what triggered the symbiote and made it close to coming off of him, but Peter had been in control and wanted to keep it ready to fight Gwen because he can care less about what she thinks despite it being a Gwen Stacy variant. He symbiote punches Gwen and then she gets knocked to the ground, and then the bell keeps going on. The bell keeps ringing and the symbiote screams and then comes off slowly, and then it gets off and heads to Eddie Brock, which will be the new host of Venom, to later try and kill the Spider-Man. After that, Peter had been weak, laying down, asking Gwen if she's okay. Gwen asked him if he was alright, noticing his suit is no more black, but originally the red and blue suit we all know and love. Now, they have to worry about Venom, Morbius, the Rhino and Riot, which was created by Morbius, creating a symbiote based on Venom and his vampire makeover, you can say. Not to mention Kraven, Vulture and Scorpion. It's a lot that Spider-Man had on his plate. Peter apologizes to Gwen whilst being practically unconscious when being the host of Venom. Gwen says it's okay and they just hug it out. Peter mentions how he still is kind of in love with Gwen because it's hard to deal with the loss, but he can't date some variant, and if it wasn't for her death, he wouldn't be the person he is. They just become very close and hug it out. They discuss on a serum that can reverse the effects, similar to that one but reverse the effects. They then make it and go on top of the Oscorp building to install it so it can go to the sky and take everyone back. Gwen says, I guess this is goodbye. Peter waved to her. Both of their spider sense was tingling, and they went flying to the ground, but Peter was on a wall, but Gwen was falling, and her web shooters were jammed. He tried saving her, but then Venom throws him inside a broken window to Oscorp. He claws Spider-Man and some symbiote is left to poison his bloodstream. Morbius comes on top of him, but his spider sense wouldn't work since he isn't receiving enough oxygen to his brain. Morbius sucks some of his blood, but he doesn't get none of his DNA, but only the symbiote, and spits it out. It creates a new symbiote, Riot. It forms into a big monster. Spider-Man tries to crawl away and hides. Then it's just Morbius and the Riot symbiote fighting, and then Morbius eats the symbiote but spits it out again. It had a slimy and fatty texture. Spider-Gwen had been trying to fight them off. Spider-Man gets better from his healing factor and fights Venom. He realizes he knows everything about him. So he knows his Aunt May is even in the hospital. Well, not anymore, but he knows that his Aunt May is at home. But what Peter forgot is that Black Cat is there too. She had lured Venom right to her. Spider-Man goes straight to his house and begs Venom not to kill Aunt May. He takes his claw and strikes through Aunt May. Peter takes off his mask and then Venom leaves, going back to Oscorp to destroy the cure. His spider sense showed her heart not beating. He had been enraged and goes to Oscorp and sees Kraven, Scorpion and Vulture. Vulture tries to attack and they're both in the air fighting for one of them to get off each other. Spider-Man kicks his chest and has both of them falling and landing on Vulture's back. He takes his wing and rips it off. Vulture realizes he cannot go home or beat Spider-Man, and then just shove the wing through him. Spider-Man is in shock. He can't believe what just happened. Scorpion then crawls to Spider-Man to fight him to avenge Vulture. He tried to fight him, but Spider-Man has fast reflexes, so he dodged and then made Scorpion sting himself. He stung his brain so the poison will take 5 seconds to kill him. Kraven tries to fight Gwen and gets a hold of her. Gwen gets stabbed by the spear, and then Peter runs to her and asks if she's okay, and tries not to freak out. She says she'll be fine, and to keep going he then goes on a one-on-one with Kraven and lifts him up and slams him to the ground, punching him multiple times attempting to knock him out, so he would not be dead but he'd be out. so it would only be Venom, Morbius, the Rhino and Riot. He would punch with as much strength as possible right through Rhino's suit, and the Rhino would start firing bullets, and Spider-Man uses a manhole to block the bullets, and it will hit his suit. He would rip the suit open from the back and grab Rhino out, and blow up the suit by self-destruction. The cure would be on, and it takes people to their dimension. So it is only Venom, Riot and Morbius. Venom and Riot would start fighting, meanwhile Spider-Man would place spells in metal pipes and bars around them and will hit them very hard to trigger them. Peter runs to Oscorp. He would grab a goblin bomb that had been there since Harry Osborn became the Green Goblin and exploded both of them, which will technically vaporize them. A portal appears with someone in a TVA uniform that shoots at Morbius, making his powers deactivate. Peter is so confused that he looks up TVA, and all that pops up is error. The cure sends back Gwen to her universe, but before that they get a kiss and hug each other before she goes, and that Peter starts crying when he realizes that his aunt died, and his house is messed up. He moves and goes to a college whilst being a photographer for Spider-Man. The villains that were from this universe had been sent to Ravencroft. Peter goes to a therapist where he expresses how much he lost, including people like Gwen, Captain Stacy, Aunt May, Uncle Ben, and his parents. With him only having MJ, he had also lost Harry Osborn. He would have to start over. He says how he met a few friends. Their names would be Ned Leeds and Miles Morales. He works for Feast. Well, he doesn't, but he will volunteer a lot. He also met someone named Liz. His life has been alright, I guess. He then visits Gwen Stacy's grave and vents to her about everything, and then notices someone walking behind him that looked like his dad, and Peter grabs him to defend himself, and he explains how he's his dad, and Peter screams and cries where he has been and doesn't care about anything and is very disappointed. He didn't let him talk much and his dad had been crying. Peter punched his dad in the nose and kept punching him and beated him to death. Later that night he made a new suit. It looks very different. He later swings at night after hearing a crime. He rushes straight to the scene and all of the cops are around, but he doesn't say nothing. Be sure to like and subscribe and tap that bell so you never miss a video, and like for more of these.